Let's talk about something nobody warns you about. When you finally start getting your shit together, and when the fires stop, and when your calendar is in chaos, and your boundaries get clearer, it does not always feel like freedom. It often feels like loneliness. Hey, squirrels! Welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go. Let's talk about something nobody warns you about. When you finally start getting your shit together, and when the fires stop, and when your calendar is in chaos, and your boundaries get clearer, it does not always feel like freedom. It often feels like loneliness. And you'd think clarity would bring relief, but sometimes it just brings silence. You're not spinning, you're not over functioning, and suddenly people aren't around like they used to be. Suddenly, it's just you and yourself. And squirrels, this episode is about that moment, the grief of healing and the quiet of structure and the isolation that can come when you stop being the emotional glue and start being still. So let's get into it. Chaos used to be your connector. If you're an ADHD entrepreneur, chances are high that chaos used to be your social currency. You are the go-to person in a crisis, and you bonded with people over last minute scrambles, and you were always down to help, even when you had no capacity. And you show your love by being available and dropping everything and showing up with hype and just being there all the time, regardless of what you actually needed. But when you start healing, you slow down. You protect your time. You say no. You build systems so that you don't have to be putting out fires anymore. And guess what? Some people do not like the new version of you, not because they're worse, not because he or she is worse, but because she's boundaried, and boundaries change the equation. You don't have the same access to me like you used to, and maybe you don't like the way I'm showing up anymore. You become the mirror. When you stop spiraling, you reflect back everyone else's spiral. And when you build structure, you reflect back their organization. And when you stop overgiving, you highlight them over depending. And it's not intentional, but this is something real that happens. People who are used to you being the yes person, the rescuer, the chaos sponge, the person who's always available, now they feel tension. They feel distance. They even feel resentment because they're not getting the same access to you. And sometimes you internalize that as I'm doing something wrong. But let me say this clearly. You are not doing something wrong. You're just not playing the same role anymore. And that's not abandonment. That's evolution. That's the level up. Now, here's where I want to be really, really honest. When you realize that people can't be counted on, when you start healing and you feel more alone than supported, it is really tempting to double down on systems instead of connection. Especially in the age of AI, you can say, fine, I'll just do everything myself. I'll automate all of it and I'll never have to rely on anyone ever again. But let me be so crystal clear. Systems cannot hug you, and SOPs can't check in on your bad day, and project trackers don't ask how you're really doing. And even if you can program your AI to do that, at the end of the day, it's not a real person. So, yes, build your structure. And yes, definitely delegate, organize, protect your time. But don't let that become a wall between you and the people who could show up differently if you gave them the opportunity. Don't surround yourself with tools and mistake them for community. Because the point of healing is not isolation, it's discernment. Who stays and who jumps ship? Let your business be less chaotic. Let it happen. But let your life still be warm and soft and connected. The grief is real and it's also temporary. Here's the truth that a lot of people don't say out loud. Healing doesn't just feel better, it feels lonelier, like a lot lonelier, at least at first. And you might lose people who only knew how to love you at your most exhausted. And you might distance yourself from collaborators who thrived off of your disorganization. You might feel like you don't recognize yourself in old spaces anymore. And that's okay. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the people who belong in your new world, they will find you in the stillness and they will meet you in the clarity and they will show up for the version of you that doesn't have to be on fire to be worthy. So, if you're in the awkward, lonely, quiet middle part of healing, like when you have a bad haircut and that middle stage of grow out, whew, it's rough. But I see you. And you're not dramatic. You are not abandoning anyone. You're not becoming too structured or too intense. You're just building a life where your nervous system can breathe. And the loneliness doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means you stopped performing. And now you're waiting for the next level of aligned connection. It's coming. Don't rush it. And please don't build so many systems and so many tools that you forget to leave space for people. The goal is not perfection, it is presence. It's boundaries and belonging and structure with softness. And it is so, so worth it. And you are so, so worth it. I will see you next time, squirrels. Bye.